Story time. This is a story time about a girl. So there was this girl, and her name was Pinky. Pinky was going to a new school, and she loved her new school. But one time that changed. So when Pinky went to her new school, she was looking for a boyfriend. And things didn't go her way when she was looking for a boyfriend. She kept trying and trying and trying and trying until one day she finally found a boyfriend. But then things started to go downhill. Her boyfriend's name was Jack. We're going to call him Jack. And we're going to call Pinky. Anyways, Jack was cheating on Pinky with another girl. And soon she found out. Guess who that girl was? Her cousin. So then, she had slapped her cousin and her boyfriend and said, "Me and my boyfriend are done, and me and my cousin will never talk again." So then, they never spoke again, and she never talked to her boyfriend again. And then, something really bad happened. Her boyfriend still wanted her, and her cousin at the time had apologized to her. But her boyfriend, or should I say her ex-boyfriend, was still not apologizing. So by the time her cousin apologized, her boyfriend started to apologize to get both of them back. But then, like a dummy, Pinky said yes. And like a dummy her cousin was, she said yes too. So then Pinky and Jack started hanging out behind the cousin's back. Even though Pinky didn't know what it was behind the cousin's back. Same with the cousin and Jack. They started doing things around Pinky's back. And the cousin didn't know it was around Pinky's back. So one day, they both all decided to meet up for lunch. And they both called Jack Babe. And then things went downhill again. Something bad really happened. The cousin and Pinky were on the same team. They both slapped him. He wanted to get revenge on them. So guess what he did? He went to their house and murdered them. He grabbed a knife and chopped them in half, one by one piece. And that's why you should never trust someone that's being suspicious in your relationship or that you've seen with another girl. So, yeah. Story 2. Okay, story 2. There was a girl. There's a boy, actually. I'm making these stories up and I don't really know what. They're not true. But there was a boy and his name was Steve. Not Steve Harrington. Steve. Steve was a man, a boy at his school who loved to make new friends. And one time, he didn't make a friend because nobody really liked him. Because he had cancer. And no one really liked him. So, one day he decided to take matters into his own hands and started to make friends. But then something went downhand. One of his friends that he had, so he made a friend, and his name, it was a boy, and his name was Jacob. Jacob really was using him really bad. So, Jacob decided to do something. He accidentally one day said that he was annoying to one of his friends, and that said that he was just using him so he would get more friends because he had cancer. So then, the boy with cancer, I forgot his name, Steve tried to ignore it. And then things got out of hand. He started to... Jacob came and started to hurt him really bad. Oh god, I didn't need to go to this one. Guess I'll just jump to this. Anyways, it's fine. Anyways, where was I? Yeah, so Jacob decided to come to Steve's house and said when Steve was just laying in his bed watching his videos or whatever, this is what Jacob said. There was Jacob right behind him. This is what Jacob said, whispered in his ear. You can't ignore me forever, Stevie. And then Steve looked next to him and saw a big black figure. He said, whoever you are, show yourself, Jacob. I know it's you. Please leave. I've been trying to ignore you. And then the black figure stayed in the same place and said, I'm not Jacob. He ran to his mom's room until the next morning. He was never seen again. So basically, he went missing. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're gonna do story 3 in a second after I'm done doing this. Anyways, hold on. Story 3. And that last story was fake too. All of these stories I'm telling you are fake. Story time. So, there was this girl named Abby. Abby was a perfect A student, and she never got any of her classes wrong. Till one day, she started having these nightmares, and then she really started to get her classes wrong. Her parents asked her what was wrong when she got home from school every day. No response. She just said she was tired, and she had a lot on her mind. And her parents asked, well, what's on your mind, sweetie? She just said, I miss Grandma, because her grandma had died 2 years ago. So, yeah, and they understand. And they understood. And they said, oh, okay, sweetie. And then something very bad happened. She started having more and more nightmares. And after she said she missed her grandma, her grandma was in her nightmares now. She said it felt like everything she had said in her real life has come true. So then her parents started seeing what's wrong with her and see what she did in her sleep. They started watching her move and talk in her sleep and say, "Grandma, Grandma, help, no, stop, why are you leaving me?" And then she would just stop talking. It's like she was possessed. And then her parents started to get her a therapist, which was even more bad. She was not having it. She did not want a therapist at all. So, she told her parents that she said she was fine and that she didn't need anything at all. So they left her alone until something bad happened. They realized that they should have took her to the therapist. She was depressed, whatever it's called. And the next day, she was found dead in her bed because she didn't wake up, and she did not pass out at all. She died. Wasn't the good type of die. Her death was horrible. Two more stories and then we're done. Story 4. Alrighty, story 4. There was this girl and boy. The girl's name was Maddie. The boy's name was Matt. Matt and Maddie were a big couple. They were both popular at school. And they made fun of nerds, even though they were friends with the nerds out of school. But that made the nerds mad that they ignored them in school. So the nerds started to come to their house and look at them through the window and stalk them. The girl stalked the boy. The girl nerd stalked the boy because she had a crush on the boy. The boy nerd had a crush on the girl, so he stalked her. And then one day, the popular girl and boy noticed they were looking at them through the windows. So they decided to get blinds. But that made it even worse. They would start banging on the door and doing this. Let me in, let me in, let me in. Let me in, let me in. I want to see you right now. This is what the boy nerd did. That was what the girl nerd did. This is what the boy nerd did. Let me in, please let me in. I will keep on stalking you. Please let me in. They would do that over and over again until they had to stop because they were out of breath. The popular people were really freaked out about it. So then they started to ignore it. That made the fact worse. That made them want to do it even more. So then they gave up. Popular people gave up. And then I'm stuck. And then they stopped. They stopped tapping on the doors. They stopped. They just stopped. And then they came back. But this time, the popular nerd the popular jock. Matt and Maddie weren't popular anymore because they moved. But the nerds still found them. Then they went missing, and they were never seen again. Okay. Fifth story, last one. I'm gonna go to the yellow one because I didn't really get to finish it. Anyways, so there's this guy. His name was Lucas. There's this girl. Her name was Sophie. Sophie and Lucas were brother and sister. But they hated each other. Just like their friends. Sophie's friends hated her brother, Lucas, and his friends. And Lucas's friends hated Sophie and her friends. So they decided to never talk to each other. Even though their parents really wanted them two to get along. And that never happened. So then they took matters into their own hands. And they took matters into their own hands and started making them like each other. And that didn't work at all. So then they started to hurt each other until they almost killed each other. Then their mom and dad brought them to a therapist. That didn't work either. They killed the therapist. Then, after they killed the therapist, the brother and the sister killed each other. Then, their mom and dad walked in because they thought it was an awfully long time and saw them laying dead on the ground. These are all fake stories. I hope you know that. But bye. Stay safe. Mwah. I might do an ASMR video next. Bye. Bye-bye.